toxic masculinity.
Democrats plan to pack the Supreme Court with 4 additional judges. Okay, so this is an interesting story because, let's see here. This is an interesting story because this was actually later rejected by Nancy Pelosi. And I'm like, why would Nancy Pelosi reject that? Now, my guess is that whoever's pulling the strings on Nancy Pelosi said, not yet. This isn't the way. This isn't the way we're doing it. We've got another plan in place. So just stick with the plan, right? All right, let's see here. Democrats unveil plan to pack Supreme Court with 13 justices. Well, they're not really packing it with 13 judges. They're packing it with 4 more justices. So it would go from 9 justices to 13. So let's see here. Democrat politicians on Thursday unveiled their plan to expand the U.S. Supreme Court from the current 9 justices to 13, a proposal that has been roundly criticized as court packing to meet political needs. We're here today because the United States Supreme Court is broken, said Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey at a press conference on the steps of the nation's highest court in Washington, D.C. It's out of balance and it needs to be fixed. Okay, just because there are more conservatives on the Supreme Court than Democrats, or more conservatives than leftists, that doesn't mean the court is broken. Why does that mean the court is broken? It's just because the court's ideological makeup is such that you're not happy about it. That doesn't mean it's broken. I mean, the rhetoric these people use is ridiculous. So court packing has a very specific definition, by the way, guys. Court packing is very specifically adding new justices to the court in order to change the ideological makeup of the court. That's it. There's no other definition of court packing. But when you discuss this with leftists, the new talking point, and I've seen this all over, I've seen it on Twitter, people have sent me personal messages about this. Leftists seem to believe now, and that this is what they keep saying, and so naturally this is what people think, that court packing is just nominating justices of one political party. But that's what always happens. That's what happens with whomever is president. They always nominate justices of their party. I don't think it's ever been true that any justice or any president ever in history, as far as I know, will have nominated justices from both parties. They always nominate justices from their own party or from their own, of their own political persuasion. So this, we've got a special guest here for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's my wife, Valeria Coles. Hello, darling. How was work? All right. Well, we're all waiting for you. Everybody wants to see you. That's okay. You can look like a homeless person. Nobody cares. Oh, you smell like... Why do you smell like a homeless person? That's what I want to hear. Yeah, you can pee and wash your hands. Thank you for saying that out loud for the whole world to hear. Okay, let's see here. So, what was I talking about? Yeah. So they're trying to redefine the term court packing so that it becomes more of a tit for tat as opposed to just something that they're doing that's corrupt, right? So if they do something that seems extreme or corrupt or unjustified, it's much, much better for them if they can say, oh, well, actually, the Republicans did something bad first, so we're just reacting to that. We're trying to balance out their corruption by acting in this way ourselves. This is actually just a course correction as opposed to them just completely acting corruptly, which is exactly what they're doing. So they're redefining the term court packing so what they're doing doesn't sound so bad. It's sort of like when they decided that, the concept of racism is actually bigotry plus power. You have to have power, and it can't just be that you're the president of the United States. You have to have systemic power over a long period of time, so it has to be. So only white people can be racist because we're redefining the term racist, right? They like redefining terms so that it doesn't apply to them, and in very specific ways. It's this. It's a tactic of a weaker opponent, right? If you have two people fighting, and one person employs certain kinds of tactics because they know they're weaker, the stronger person can still lose, despite the fact that they are a superior fighter or whatever the competition is, right? A superior sportsman. If the other person's just really good at cheating because they know that they have to cheat because they're weak and they're inferior, they can still win. So Democrats are employing this tactic of, well, we're going to redefine terms so that we sound better. That's just a sign that they're weak, and they know they're weak. All right, so this guy says, I'm disappointed to say that too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. The consequence is the right of all Americans, but especially people of color, women, and our immigrant communities are at risk. This is like constant at this point. Democrats, every single issue, they'll say, "Oh, this is a racial issue somehow." Like, how the hell is it even a racial issue? This doesn't make any sense. And he's saying, I'm disappointed to say too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. No one questions the court's legitimacy. I have never heard this. I've never heard this from anyone. You may need to change the focus because you sat way closer than I expected you to. Yeah. I've never heard anybody talk about, the court legitimacy or anything like that. This is just something this guy's making up to make himself sound right. Markey, who is co-sponsoring the bill, the Judiciary Act of 2021, with New York Representative Gerald Nadler. Yeah, he's the one that looked like he shat himself and had to waddle off of the stage that one time. You guys remember? And Mondaire Jones. Mondaire? I've never heard that name. And Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia. Oh, Hank Johnson of Georgia is sponsoring this bill. Well, it must be brilliant if Hank Johnson sponsored it. Hank Johnson, for those of you who don't remember, is the guy who said that he believed that Guam could flip over if we put too many troops on one side of the island. Hank Johnson seems to think that islands float, and that if you put too much weight on one side of them, they will flip over in the ocean.
Is it not like this?
Is it? No. Shockingly, darling, it isn't like that. No. Islands are more like mountains in the sea.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't? Oh, well, now you know.
I'm kidding.
The Russian education isn't so good these days. All right, let's see here. Markey, who's co-sponsoring the bill. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Okay. And Hank Johnson accused Republicans of stealing seats in the coveted court. I don't really understand that. I mean, I understand what they're saying. I understand that they're all angry because of who is that guy that Republicans didn't let him come up for a vote for no, you don't know. How could you possibly know? I don't remember his name, but anyway, he's now like Attorney General or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, back in the Obama era, Mitch McConnell said he wasn't going to let Obama pick one of the justices because it was too late in his term. And it was a little bit of political shenanigans. Okay, I'll be honest. It was a little bit of political shenanigans. But, it was like a political a chess move, right? But Democrats were incensed by this. I mean, they thought this was the worst thing that ever happened. Who was that guy? Who's that guy?
Am I in focus?
Are you in focus? I'll have to look.
Am I like...
No, totally out of focus, actually.
I'm totally...
You really messed that up. Obama judge denied was called... Oh, that's not right. Oh, Merrick Garland. There we go. Yeah, so it was the Merrick Garland situation where, Obama wanted this... It's still not really in focus, but okay, we'll just deal with it. Merrick Garland wasn't allowed to be a justice, and Democrats went crazy. And I'm not even really sure why. I mean, why do they care so much about Merrick Garland? What's so special about Merrick Garland? They just felt like, those tricky Republicans got a political ploy. Like, all the Democrats do is cheat in politics. Mm-hmm. Mitch McConnell uses one dirty trick, and they lose their minds. They're like, no, Republicans aren't allowed to use dirty tricks. Only we're allowed to use dirty tricks. If Republicans do one nasty thing, well then, if they get us with a sucker punch, well then we got to pull out the frickin', M16. We got to pull out the bazooka and kill them all. They go nuclear like instantly. They're just like, okay, you did one dirty trick. We're going to pull out the entire bag of dirty tricks. We're going to make Puerto Rico a state. We're going to make DC a state. We're going to make mail-in voting the standard. We're going to, we're going to change the voting age. I mean, they're going to pack the court. They're doing all this nasty stuff to make it so that we'll never win another election. Huh?
Voting age
I think that's what's going to happen.
to what? 14?
I think it's going to be something like 16 or something, probably.
You know, once I read this thing from a guy. He was like, they wants to lower voting age to age 16. And he was like, I remember myself at age 16. Me and my friend, we bought an alive lobster, put a leash on him, and just walked around the neighborhood with a live lobster on a leash.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, kids
At
are
age
stupid.
16.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think 18-year-olds should vote. I think if Republicans get a supermajority in the next election, I think if Republicans get a supermajority in the next election, we need to actually raise the voting age to like 26 or something like that. I'm gonna kill that cat. Don't worry, everything I'm throwing at him is soft and gentle. I wouldn't throw something hard. I could throw something hard, but I'm not going to. Aston. You're home. See, this is the problem. You're home. He loves Valeria. He loves Valeria so much, and she can't play with him because she's working. But anyway, yeah. So they're employing all these dirty tricks, and this is one of them. Packing the court is, of course, one of the things. And I warned everybody about this. I said, if they get into power, they're going to do all these things so that we never can get another conservative ever elected ever again. They're dirty tricksters, I'm telling you. But I think we can fight them. I still have hope. I still am an eternal optimist. Darling.
Scientific American admits to pushing climate hysteria.
Yeah, it's true. This is kind of funny. So Scientific American, which used to be a magazine and now it's like a website, I guess. There's an opinion writer here. I guess he's an editor at the magazine. You know, he covers all the science stuff. He's basically admitting that they're using terminology to scare people. But he says that it's totally justified many times in the article. And I was reading this article and I thought it was something worth talking about. So let's get into it real quick. It says, we are living in a climate emergency and we're going to say so. Damn it. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.